Our presentation is on Indian national identity.
The history of India and the origin starts with the Indian independence movement in 1947. The Indian independence movement incorporated the efforts by Indians to liberate the region from the British, French, and Portuguese to form the nation-state of India. India emerged as a unified nation-state on August 15, 1947. India is one of the few countries whose citizenship law is incorporated in the Constitution itself.
In 1947, after India gained independence, there were three ways to gain citizenship. One, you must have been born in the territory of India. Two, either of your parents must have been born in the territory of India. And three, you must have been ordinarily residing in India for not less than 5 years immediately preceding the commencement of the Constitution.
There's three ways to gain Indian citizenship in the present day. The first being citizenship by birth, the second citizenship by registration, and citizenship by naturalization.
Citizenship by birth has changed multiple times throughout history. From January 26, 1950 to January 7, 1987, every person born in India is a citizen by birth, irrespective to their parents' nationality. From January 7, 1987 to February 12, 2004, every person born in India is a citizen provided one parent is a citizen of India. And anyone born after March 12, 2004 is a citizen provided that both parents are citizens or one is a citizen and the other is not an illegal migrant.
Eligibility for citizenship by registration in India, a person has to be of Indian origin who is ordinarily resident in India for 7 years before making an application for registration. They have to be a person of Indian origin who is ordinarily in any country or place outside undivided India. Finally, a person who is married to a citizen of India and is ordinarily resident of India for 7 years before making an application for registration.
Continuation of eligibility for citizenship by registration. So you can be a minor child of parents who are citizens of India. You can be a person of full age and capacity who either of your parents were earlier citizens of independent India and had been residing in India for 1 year immediately before making an application for registration. Or you can be a person of full age and capacity who has been registered as an overseas citizen of India for 5 years and who has been residing in India for 1 year before making an application for registration.
Citizenship by naturalization. To become an Indian citizen as a foreigner, not being an illegal immigrant, who is ordinarily resident in India for 12 years throughout the period of 12 months immediately preceding the date of application for 11 years in the aggregate in the 14 years preceding the 12 months, and fulfills other qualifications as specified in the third schedule in the Act 1955.
India's education system. So more than 27% of the country's youth are excluded from education, employment, or training, while the overwhelmingly majority of working Indians are employed in the informal sector, many of them in agriculture, often in precarious engagements, lacking any form of job security or labor protections. India is currently the second largest sending country of international studies worldwide.
The Central Advisory Board of Education is the oldest and most important advisory board of the Government of India in education and was first established in 1920 and dissolved in 1923 as a measure of economy. It was revived in 1935 and has been in existence ever since. The practice adopted by the board has been to hold one meeting every year. They discuss all education and curriculum activities of India.
State power over education. As per the Constitution of India, school education was originally a state subject. That is, the states had complete authority on deciding policies and implementing them. The role of the government of India was limited to coordination and deciding on the standards of higher education. This was changed with the constitutional amendment in 1976 so that education now comes in the so-called concurrent list. This is, school education policies and programs are suggested as at the national level by the GOL. Though the state governments have a lot of freedom in implementing programs, policies are announced at the national level periodically. The Central Advisory Board of Education, set up in 1935, continues to play a lead role in the evolution and monitoring of educational policies and programs.
In 1961, the Government of India established the National Council of Education Research and Training as an autonomous organization to assist and advise the governments at the center and in states in the implementation of their policies for education, especially to bring about qualitative changes in school education and research preparation. Over the years, the Council has evolved into a unique organization with its increasing range of activities that has influenced school and education in India.
The 10+2+3 education system. The first decade of a child's education is mandatory per the federal government. Most students begin their schooling at age 5 in the form of preschool. By the time they are 6, primary school begins. Students remain obligated to attend school until age 14, at which point they may choose to halt their education. Secondary school is made up of 2-year cycles, and the 3 stands for the 3 additional years a student can choose to attend a university. There are 2 major political parties in India. First is the Indian National Congress, which took over after gaining independence from Britain. They're known for having Muslim support, and their values are freedom, tolerance, equality, and individual rights. There's also the Bharatiya Janata Party, which promotes Hindu religion, aggressive nationalism, and preserves the spread of culture of the Hindus in secure borders. They have been found revising textbooks used in Indian schools. As of 2019, it is the country's largest political party. The official ideology of the BJP is integral humanism. Their values are based on an individual's undisputed subservience to nation as a corporate entity, focused on a largely liberal economic policy prioritizing globalization and economic growth over social welfare.
Language and education. Primary school is often taught in the local dialect, of which there are 122 across the country. Many schools, however, choose to educate children in Hindu, which is the official language of India. English as a foreign language begins by the time the students are in 3rd grade. However, this is somewhat inaccurate, as English is the 2nd official language of India. People use the English to communicate throughout the country because many people have different first languages. English allows all people within the state to communicate.
Languages in India. The majority of people speak Hindu at 43.6%, then Bengali at 8%, Marathi at 6.9%, Telugu at 6.7%, Tamil at 5.7%, and 29.1% speak a different language. There are 22 recognized languages, but Hindu and English are the 2 official languages.
There are 4 main religions in India. Hindu has the majority, with 79.8% of the population participating. Muslim is in second with 14.2%, Christianity is in third with 2.3%, and Sikh is in last with 1.7% of the Indian population. The Indian Constitution has included innumerable acts by which the marginalized sections of the country are given sufficient protection and special privileges. The scheduled tribes and backward communities in India get reservations in education as well as employment. Only 25% of the Indian population in the forward communities. In addition to these reservations, 2 major minority religious sections, Muslim and Sikhs, enjoy special rights in our country. Absence of common civil code creates some problems. The government of India ensures that each religion and its customs are protected in the society.
It is concluded that India uses the legal process for introducing citizens through birth, registration, and naturalization. An eligible person could be anyone, including immigrants, as long as they meet the country's specifications. India has attempted to create unity through their education system by making one controlled curriculum in textbooks for all students rather than the curriculum being controlled by individual states, and by using English as the country's common language. India's objective nationalism could be at risk to become subjective due to the BJP organization being the primary party throughout the state, changing textbooks and student curriculum to saffronize Indian history. The party's aggressive nationalism and integral humanism ideology changes the focus of the state to prioritize globalization and economic growth over social welfare. Absence of common civil code creates some problems. The government of India ensures that each religion and its customs are protected in society. India, being an extremely diverse country, follows the legal model of citizenship and is objective but quickly becoming at risk to turning subjective in the present time. The Indian Constitution assigns equal rights, privileges, and duties to all people of different genders, class, language, and religion. People of India show clear distinctions in their physique, dress, language, food habits, religious practices, and rituals, but this unique unity of India shows its multicultural diversity.
That is the conclusion of our presentation. This is our works cited page. If you have any questions, me and Nolan would be happy to answer them to the best of our knowledge.